Hello, welcome to True Hoop with me, Jarod, Hector, and Coach David Thorpe. How are you, sir?
Well, how are you?
Good. Trade deadline has come and gone, and we are here for part two of our trade deadline recap discussions. The biggest one, David, since we were off the air yesterday, is the Cleveland Cavaliers sending Karis LeVert and George Niang 3 second-round picks and 2 pick swaps to the Hawks in return for DeAndre Hunter. This obviously is a move by the Cavs. We'll get to the Hawks in a minute. To double down is the wrong word, but to solidify their belief that we want to make a deep playoff run this year. They are the best team in the Eastern Conference record-wise and has been all season. Really been the best team record-wise in the NBA pretty much all season. The Cavs are now technically have one less loss, but because of the Cavs have one more win, the Thunder are half a game behind them in overall league standings. But they've been the 1 or 2 team record-wise in the league literally all season. We love what they're doing there with Kenny Atkinson, Mitchell, and Garland as a backcourt. Kudos to Kenny for revitalizing Darius Garland, got him playing well again. Insane backcourt. They're 2 big guys, and Allen and Mobley have been incredible. I think, getting a guy like Hunter, who's shooting 39% from 3 this year and who has been a plus 2 elite defender in his career, suggests that, all right, if we match up with a team like Boston, we need someone to stick on Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, because currently what we have, we don't think is good enough. So I like the trade for them for that reason. And money-wise, he's got 2 years left on his deal, $23 million next year and $24 million the year after that. He's age 28 and 29 seasons. I like this for them, and I don't think it costs them too much to get him.
A few things there to unpack. First of all, as someone in the business of helping players get better, I always tell the players publicly never to mention my name. You'll never hear them say it. One time this year, a coach mentioned it, which I had to text him, please don't do that again.
Please don't do that.
He mentioned it, for a few different players I have on his team. Nevertheless, I want the coaches to get all the credit, but they don't really deserve all the credit. So Kenny Atkinson maybe
yes, correct.
He hasn't fucked it up.
Right, correct.
At the very least, he hasn't fucked it up. Someone's doing some good work, as Darius, of course, is too. It's a big part of their success story. Is his success. Can't really overstate it. It's going to be clunky at first because these things happen that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right. I think that if you're going into a playoff series, you'd rather have DeAndre Hunter than anyone they traded. And even though LeVert was playing good and George was shooting fine.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lesson here, by the way, for the average player. It is my experience that a good number of players, when they get paid, relax.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea if George Niang and or Karis LeVert relax. They seem to be playing fine.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to be playing well on a bad team. And you don't want to be just okay on a really good team.
Mm-hmm.
Because your ass may get moved for a better player than you.
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 guys were thinking, let's go. We got a ring. We got a chance.
Yeah,
it's fun to play in those games. You dream.
For sure.
And now, on April 16, they'll be on a plane somewhere.
Yeah.
Atlanta's unlikely. Well, maybe they'll get a play in, but either way, it won't be lasting long.
That part's rough, right, David? Is the moving from literally a title contender to now
a favorite.
Right. A 23 and 29 team who, like you said, may be playing, but that's the best you're going to do. Yeah. I wonder for DeAndre Hunter, who lost his starting spot to Dyson Daniels this year. I wonder.
I think he was my pick for
sixth man
of the year. Yeah.
I wonder if the reverse effect now you're going to a contending team. And look, I feel like I always dump on trade. I'm not that's not what I'm trying to do here. But Donovan Mitchell, to me, seems more like a galvanizer and someone who can rally his guys together. Does that rising tide lift all ships thing, does that buoy DeAndre Hunter a little bit more than playing in Atlanta?
I wouldn't make it about Trae and Donovan. I don't think it's a bad piece of insight. I think they're just in a much faster river. Like they're playing for something really special. You can't. And Atlanta's done it before. DeAndre's done it before. Mm-hmm. He was on that team that waited to these conference finals. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I don't think it factored in, I'm sure, it was easy to target him. But I'm sure as part of the target was, this guy's been in some major playoff games before
Mm-hmm.
and advanced farther than some of the other guys we've had. Donovan hasn't made the conference finals yet.
Correct.
Yeah, none of those guys have. So, yeah, we'll talk about like the Milwaukee Bucks and Kuzma. We'll get into that later. Kuzma's been, asleep for a few years
Mm-hmm.
because of that's not the case with DeAndre. Atlanta was formidable at times this year.
Mm-hmm.
They have a
Big
number
wins.
of nice,
including beating
wins.
Cleveland twice.
Right. Oh, true. That's right. Yeah. So that won't be as hard for him as I think it will for Kuz, who's going from Alexander Sarr and Jordan Poole to Giannis and Dame. Wake up. I was telling Travis this morning, and we were doing an article about this. It's like having a cold ice bath, cold ice bucket being thrown on you. Wake up, man. It's on now. For Kuzma.
Yeah.
For DeAndre, it's not that big a deal. It's a jump, but not as much a jump. So yeah, I really like it for Cleveland a lot. He can play small ball 4 with Mobley or Jarrett, but assuming you have Mobley in the game in late crunch time situations, DeAndre's your 4. And that's better than anyone they had before that. I think I said, and then we maybe even talked about it too. Boston, OKC, they yawned when Dallas traded Luka for AD. They're not yawning about this. This is fuck. This is a good player on a really good team, and they're better now. They're going to be better come April.
I think so.
So good for Cleveland.
Look, and it's like I've been saying, David, for a while, and it ties into Henry's thing about, if you think you can win a title, but you're not sure about the young guys, what do you do? Do you move on? And Daryl's point about if you have a 5% chance, you got to go for it. Like, I don't know what the future holds for Cleveland, right? Like, Mobley's young, he's 23 and ascending, right? Mitchell's 27. Garland's 23, 24. So he and Mobley are the same age. But Mitchell and Allen are 27, right? So they're not old, but they're older. And DeAndre Hunter's also 26, 27. So I just feel like we are this good now. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen next year. Like, if we have a chance to make ourselves increase our chances by another 2%, 3%, I don't know what the number is with the DeAndre Hunter deal. I feel like for the cost they paid, you got to do it because I have zero idea what's going to happen next year.
I don't think it costs much for their future anyway.
Right.
So on that subject, I was watching Lakers Warriors last night. I watched a couple games last night. Pacers Clippers, Golden State, LA was on this like 2 screens in front of me. And LeBron made a great Euro step finish at full speed. Really impressive play. Right away, Coach Kerr calls timeout. LeBron's in the paint behind the rim, just scoring. Timeout, and then he just gallops to his bench on the other side. And I texted you guys.
Yeah. Like,
he ran faster to the bench than the average, 25-year-old plus guy has run
in his life.
The average anyone has run since he was 25. Right. Yeah. He's extraordinary. My point is, I think this is going to be more normal than less because of modern medicine and better experts with physio trainers, that kind of thing. So those Cavaliers guys at 27, they got plenty of time. Yeah. Plenty of time. I watched the Pacers ran the Clippers out of the gym in the second and fourth quarters yesterday, and 31 in April, Pascal Siakam just D'd up Kawhi full court. Kawhi was doing some cooking, but he had to work.
Yeah.
And Siakam outran him and had 33 and 11 and was the star of the game at almost 31. So these guys have years, potentially, if they take care of their bodies.
Right.
Why wouldn't you? When you're on this team, when you're doing this kind of thing. So to your point, I think it's even more important that they get this guy. They've got it's not like he's 34.
No. He's 27. This is perfect. My thought was not so much about them being old as much as the league changes so fast, and I have no idea.
Injuries and all that too. Yeah,
and they kind of came out of nowhere this year. Nobody thought they were going to be this year, right?
They were solid for a couple of years. Now they're elite.
Elite. They are literally a title favorite. I know Vegas probably has Boston and OKC as higher favorites, and I think we would too.
Maybe, but man,
not by a lot.
I'm telling you that I don't know who I'd pick right now between them and Boston. I watched Boston get their asses kicked yesterday.
Yeah, sure did.
By a Who I just watched the game. I'm just so old. I can't believe I can't think of who beat them.
We'll pull it
but
up
they
right
got
now.
their ass kicked yesterday.
Yeah.
And Cleveland just got better.
Yes.
So, I mean, at OKC, let's see what Chet looks like. Probably good.
Yeah. So we talked about teams that like they didn't make a move, but their move was, oh, we get a guy back. Like that's our move, right? And so
Yeah.
I love that for them. Boston last night, who did they play? The Mavericks.
Smoked by Dallas without obviously AD. He didn't play.
Correct.
Yeah, I watched the whole game.
Yeah.
It wasn't a competitive game. Dallas kicked their ass. And so Boston had been playing well. They won 4 straight. Good for them. Nevertheless, Cleveland got better today.
Sure did.
Boston ain't yawning about DeAndre Hunter. This is a significant threat.
For sure. And also, David, at this time of the year, with players that you work with, they are clamoring for the All-Star break. Like, right? They cannot wait. It's like, well, the ones who aren't going to San Francisco and have to do all that rigmarole for the next 4 days, they're like, oh, we get to take a break for a little while. Like,
there are. I will tell you, I've got some players who are so good at taking care of their bodies, and they're playing well, and their team's winning. They don't want to break.
Yeah, because they're in a good groove.
I mean, they'll be fine on the break, but no, this is going good. Yeah. I don't want anything to fuck it up. Yeah, but that's normally not the case. Yeah. Who does want to break? I can't wait to leave the country for my break. I need one. I had the wrong headset on. Is that working, John? Is that working? It's just I'm an old man who's tired. Yeah, I was up till 1:30 watching games, and I had probably 6:30 this morning. I was up. So time for a break. But yeah. Cleveland's going to come out of that break. They've got 30 plus games. Mm-hmm. And then in round 1, they'll likely pound some
whoever there. Yep.
And so it gives them that much more time for Johnny to acclimate. I think he'll be fine. Yeah,
and I think again and this is the advantage to playing well and beating who you're supposed to beat and opening up a lead, is that with this new trade, it'll give Kenny some room to tinker with, all right, how do we like DeAndre with this lineup? How do we like him here? And you're not freaking out like, oh my God, if we lose a game, now we're dropping to the 2 seed, right? Like that's what happens when you win and you're good. So they're in a good spot. On the Atlanta side, David, they are slashing payroll, it seems like. So Bogdanovich got sent to the Clippers for Bones Highland and Terrence Mann. We know Jalen Johnson's out for the season. Dyson Daniels has kind of been a revelation for them. We love what he does defensively, and he's coming around offensively as well. We both like Onyeka Okongwu, but he's 6'9", so I don't know if full-time center is what.
He's a good shot blocker, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're right on Daniels, Okongwu, Jalen Johnson obviously being out for a while. We'll see if I'm super high on Don Barlow. We'll see if they keep him. Mm-hmm. To me, Trae's gone.
Well, that's where I'm going to next. So Trae's got $46 million due next year, and the year after a $49 million player option. All of these moves to me suggest we're setting ourselves up for a move to move on from Trae Young, is what I see.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. I don't know where. One team I thought about is Brooklyn with Claxton. I think that's a really interesting combination.
Lob threat.
Keep Cam Johnson. You get 2 years with them, 1 year, and then you can always move again if you wanted. I was kind of playing in my head a little bit. Yeah. That might be interesting to see.
Well, because the reason why you probably said Brooklyn is because you're like, how many teams can take on $46 million, right? Like, and
they're the only ones, I think.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
I think they're the only ones. I didn't even think of it that way. I was thinking on-court matchup. But I also think they have the money. They can do a deal and get them and afford it, I think. Yeah, I've not done the math deeply, but it just makes sense to me that Atlanta is going to say, okay, we're building on Dyson and Conwu and Jalen Johnson. Yeah.
And I think a team with Trae, Claxton, and Cam Johnson, not only fun, good. I think they'll be pretty good too. Like,
and Henry's favorite player, Cam Thomas.
For all you true listeners, Henry, not a huge fan of Cam Thomas, even though David and I are like, but that dude can score the basketball, man. He's pretty good at that. And that's a good valuable skill.
He can be a good 6-man.
The Clippers also, David, sent Kevin Porter Jr. to the Bucks for Marjon Beauchamp. So they got Bogdanovich coming in, and they got Beauchamp coming in. Obviously, Bogdanovich is a Kawhi backup. And in those events that Kawhi can't play, you can potentially start Bogdanovich. And Beauchamp for Kevin Porter Jr. Beauchamp's young, right? I think people at one point thought highly of him. I don't know where they sit now on his abilities. Clearly didn't work out in Milwaukee. But look, the Clippers, whose starting five is good, right? It's pretty good. I think this is some reinforcements for them. I don't know, though, that, again, it does much for them in terms of we're making a deep playoff run. When we did our top five yesterday, I asked you, outside of the five teams we mentioned, anybody else to give a chance to win a title, and the only one we said was Denver. So we'll give Denver like a little bit, nobody else. And I don't think this makes the Clippers now all of a sudden on that level, but I think they're fine.
No, I watched them last night. They played great in the first quarter. They might have scored 40 points in the first quarter, 42 maybe, and then kind of died. And then they came back, and then they died again. Indiana just ran them out of the gym. Indiana on a day's rest can run anyone out of the gym right now.
Yeah.
On a back-to-back, like when they played Portland to play in Utah, they run themselves out of the gym.
Right.
They just can't. You can't do it 2 games in a row. Yeah, if the playoff games had some back-to-back elements to it,
might be a little
other
harder.
teams would be in trouble. It'd be hard for the Pacers, harder for the other team. And even after round 1, when you have to play every other night, they ran New York. They did the same thing with New York.
Sure.
And obviously in Boston, every game they were leading in like I think all 4 games or 3 of them, like a minute and a half to go. The Clippers, yeah. I'll amend what we said yesterday. I don't think it's likely for the Lakers to contend.
Oh, we didn't say they were going to contend.
No, I'm telling you, I'm changing my views.
Oh, you think they will?
No, I think it's possible if Shea goes down. There needs to be they're 4 or 5 back, and you never want to be 4 or 5 back. 2 back is fine. Right. 1 team ahead of you, 2. But crazy shit happens, and they have Luka with LeBron.
Yeah, right.
And I thought to myself, if anyone can reach this young man after he's just being trashed, and maybe deservedly so. I have a teammate of his who had said he's fine. He's not a great leader, but whatever, he's fine. I have a coach saying terrible, terrible person, terrible teammate, garbage guy, one of the best players of all time. But he's been absolutely trashed, and now he gets LeBron. So just doing the math, I thought to myself, Tom Brady, what he did for the Buccaneer offensive line, they haven't lost an NFC South since, and he has been retired for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And what Luka did for Lively and Gafford, now he gets Hayes and Mark Williams, and has LeBron, who if anyone can reach Luka, it's got to be LeBron James.
Yeah.
He's not gonna fuck. He's not going to kind of say fuck off LeBron.
No, for sure not.
He was a fine teammate to Kyrie.
Right.
This is another 8 levels up. I love Kyrie. LeBron's on another planet.
LeBron's probably the greatest player of all time. So yeah.
So if you could argue, I'm starting to equivocate my feelings on that. I kind of lean towards what Jordan's accomplished probably is more impressive to me now, age per age. Obviously at this age, LeBron's better. But come on, how to be a superstar, how to win games, how to take care of your body. Look, LeBron can write the book, the best book ever. So I think we're going to see a man possessed. I really do. And they're guarding. They beat Golden State good yesterday without AD. I think something's cooking there. And and with LeBron and Luka motivated, it's going to require some injuries to the other teams. But I won't count them out anymore. I've counted out LeBron enough.
There's no scarier 1-2 punch in the league than LeBron James and Luka Doncic, particularly if Luka's like, first of all, Luka's already one of the most insanely competitive people I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Now with a chip on his shoulder, because you guys think I'm fat and lazy and all these other things, he might be just a man-child and man-possessed, like, well, I'm going to just kick everybody's ass and cut their throats out. So, yes, that's scary. So if you couple that with, SGA or forget, Jalen Williams goes down, or well, now we got problems, right? Because OKC's now not as good, or someone on Memphis goes down. Okay, well, now you see the
path. That's what I'm saying.
For sure.
Is I watched them play yesterday, and I've seen Luka play, 100 games, and I've watched him on the bench plenty. I am not telling you that I'm right. I could be reading into this, but I wasn't thinking about this. I had multiple screens on. Whenever they showed Luka, I just felt like he was studying something. And I thought, oh, man, he's actually paying attention. And LeBron pays attention to everything. And so I think that's going to rub off on Luka as well. Like, I could see Luka at the end of the season saying, I learned more from LeBron than I have in my life. So it doesn't matter if J.J. Redick is or is not, although he's done a good job. Like JJ Redick is going to get Coach of the Year votes.
JJ's doing well with.
He's done a good job. Yeah, I'm not trusting him one bit.
We always thought he was a brilliant basketball mind. We didn't think like he doesn't know basketball. The question was always, oh man, how's he going to get through to LeBron and AD
and as
get
a rookie coach trying to win and all of that? But he's done a good job, and I think his intensity be good for. And I don't think he's afraid of Luka.
No,
that's the one thing is I don't think Jason Kidd's afraid of anyone. I just don't think Jason Kidd bothered to deal with it.
And hold him accountable.
And fine.
Yeah, you think JJ might be able to hold Luka accountable? Yeah,
I think JJ is going to just say, "You're supposed to be the guy,
right?" Yeah.
So we expect you to do this,
mm-hmm.
and if you don't like it, I think LeBron's going to have JJ's back.
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to find out very quickly.
Sure.
Luka is the definition of plug and play.
Yeah.
LeBron is old enough to adjust to that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm very intrigued. It's the worst trade of all time. I'll go. The worst trade of all time was. Do you know what the worst trade was
in the NBA? No.
Yeah, I have a guess.
No, I don't. What do you think it is?
It was the Radio City Rockettes appearance in St. Louis for Bill Russell.
Yeah.
That's the worst trade of all time.
Yeah.
The St. Louis Hawks, I think they could be the Boston Celtics if they just kept Bill Russell at that time. But now I think it's AD for Luka. AD and Max Christie, who played well yesterday, but come on. As Kevin Pelton wrote intelligently, if I had told you they traded Cam Reddish, multiple picks, Max Christie, and AD, and who's the other guy that went to
Dalton Knecht.
And Dalton Knecht for Luka, you'd have said, "Oh man, Dallas did a bad job. They could have got even more."
Yeah.
But they didn't even get those guys.
Yeah, correct.
They got Mark Williams and Luka for that.
Correct.
Yeah, the Lakers are laughing right now. Laughing.
Listen, and if you are a Lakers fan, listen, that Lakers exceptionalism is coursing through your veins right now. And you're like, look at us. Every time you count us out, we get who we want. Listen, they lucked into it, right? And again, we talked about it on yesterday's show, the reasons why we believe Dallas made that move. Let's put it this way. It wasn't basketball reasons.
I don't think it was.
Clearly not basketball reasons.
I had a bunch of calls with people yesterday. One person, very smart, a high-level agent, told me I'm wrong, that he said Nico's just arrogant enough to think this can work.
That's beyond arrogant, David.
That's what I said. It's psychopathic. Yeah.
Right.
It's the worst. Yeah, again, he made the worst trade of all time. So I think he did it for someone else. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. One quick thing, David, before we go to break, not a trade, but something we kind of saw writing on the wall happening. The Nets and Ben Simmons are currently working a buyout situation right now. Look, we've talked for a while about the sadness that is what his career is now, given that, guys, I know it's easy to dump on him, but this is an all-NBA and all-defensive caliber player. Like, this is not some bum. Like, this was a guy who was very, very good. So, okay, buyout happens. I wonder, what do you think his future is and what value could he have anywhere in this league?
No value.
Okay.
I think he needs to take a year off, which I recommended 2 years ago.
You did. Mm-hmm.
Go back to Australia or wherever home is. He can go wherever he wants. And forget about basketball and probably work with a therapist, work with a trainer if you want on the basketball court, have fun with it. And see if you can't get the zeal to compete back. Because how many free throws has he taken? 30-something for the year?
Yeah.
That's not a guy willing to compete at the highest level. And so you don't deserve to be in the NBA if you can't do it. For whatever reason. I'm not mad at him for it. But he's got some issues he's got to work through. And if he never plays again, all right. That's a choice he made. That's fine. Jim Brown walked away from football pretty early.
Sure did. And he's certainly got enough money. So if he wants to be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
But by all means. All right, folks, we'll be back after this brief commercial break. Okay, David, another trade that happened yesterday. The Memphis Grizzlies sent Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia, and a 2025 first-round pick to various teams, Sacramento and the Wizards, I want to say, in return for Marvin Bagley III, Johnny Davis, and a future second-round pick. This was done clearly to get off of the Marcus Smart deal, which had 2 years left on it, because the Grizzlies have a pending big supermax extension coming with Triple J. Now,
put it down. It's in the books.
I'm saying pending because he has to make all NBA, but as it stands right now,
games. Right. At this point, it's just about enough games.
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks like he will make one of the three teams.
He might be a first team.
Yeah. Well, he's
that good.
He's fifth in EPM, so by that metric, he should be on the first team.
Yeah.
So that's going to cost them some money, and that's so that their future is tied up between Ja, him, and Desmond Bane, which we all know. one of the things that helps them, David, is that two of the one of the starting guys in their starting lineup is Jalen Wells, who's a second-round pick. So that's going to help them as it relates to continue to build this out because of where he was drafted and what his future salary is going to be. So they're very good there. Gigi Jackson looks like somebody that could help them as soon as next year. I mean, he's going to be part of the rotation. He's already part of the rotation this year. It's going to be in the playoff rotation, I'm sure. Who's also a second-round pick, which also helps them out. I think, as we talked about before, Oklahoma City's doing this at the highest level. This is what teams are going to have to do.
Yeah.
When you've got your three guys who, okay, these are the ones we believe in, everybody else has to be a late first or a second or an undrafted that you develop the hell out of because you can't afford to pay all these people the money that they're going to be coming to.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think they're trying to clear some space for Trae and where they go from here. And you got to get young production. That's why I wrote this article a couple weeks ago about drafting men, basically draft experienced guys that can help you much faster than rolling the dice on the young guy that may or may not make it. And big, strong dudes that can. Jalen Wells is ready to play right now. He's a good player. Yeah, he's nice.
We talked about him last week, David. Like the fact that they trust this kid every night he has to guard the other team's best player. Like rookie,
so hard to do.
Talk about super hard, but also what a learning experience for you, right? Here you go, young man, deep end. Hope you learn how to swim. Like that's going to be valuable, but you have to have the right temperament to be able to do that. Because I feel like a lot of rookies, David, you did that to them, they might wash out. They couldn't handle it.
No one likes getting their head beat in all the time. No. That's never healthy for anybody.
No. And that's what it's like when you're going to guard these fucking super predators that are so good.
So you can't touch them.
Yeah, and you can't touch them.
Yeah, there was a play last night. A young Mavericks player was going for a layup. Somehow blew the layup. The guy's a super athletic, like 6'9" dude. And they replayed it, and Jason Tatum clearly pushed him in the back. And Reggie Miller's like, how do you miss that? It's the most obvious foul when you shove a guy from behind to prevent the end one and he didn't call a foul. Well, it's Jason Tatum. Yeah. Versus the young guy. Yeah.
Now, if you breathe on Tatum on the other end, you're getting called for a foul.
I was going to say. On the other end, they're looking for flagrant foul.
Yeah.
If it's the young player versus Tatum pushing in the back on a layup, it's a flagrant foul.
That's the way it is. Another trade, the last one that was made, David, Suns sent Nurkic and a 2026 first-round pick to the Hornets for Cody Martin, Vasily Micic, and a 2026 second-round pick. Now, this don't help the Suns this year in terms of luxury tax and second apron, but it will next year because of the money that Nurkic was owed. So Micic, I think, is only owed 8, and they can probably I think that's a club option, so they can decline that, and he could be an unrestricted free agent. So this is one move that managed to be showing that maybe I want to start spending a little bit less money going into next year because this is the second highest payroll in the league, and they're essentially a 500 team. And I think at some point he's gonna have to be like, "What a bad idea this was! I'm lighting money on fire over here, literally."
Yes, and I hope they turn it around, and all of a sudden Bradley and Devin and Kevin play great. They'll be amazing to watch in the playoffs. But yeah, the West is stacked, deep. Stacked with depth.
And young depth. The teams ahead of them are younger and better. Yeah.
They'll be lucky to get into the playoffs. Right now they're playing team, aren't they?
Yeah, playing. They're 9th or 10th. Yep.
Yeah. So
here's what it is, man.
Money at some point.
I think, you mentioned this last week. You said that, Matt Ashby has a fundamental misunderstanding of how our league works. And I wonder, again, I feel like teams, you have to see the tea leaves and learn what's around you. Isn't it obvious that putting all your money into 35-plus-year-old guys and paying out the wazoo into the first and second apron isn't the way to go? That seems pretty clear to me, right? The best teams in the league right now aren't like that, right? That is not what the OKC Thunder are. That is not what the Grizzlies are. That's not what the Rockets are. It's not what the Cavaliers are. The Celtics are expensive, but they're not in the second apron, I don't think. I just feel like you gotta see the writing on the wall, man. This ain't it.
I'll just say this: these rich dudes, they get all caught up in the brand names, and they're not analytical. And in basketball terms, they might be for the businesses that they prospered in. And so they're just, oh my God, this guy's got a name and this name, and it doesn't win games.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. This is how it's always been in the NBA.
Yeah, we'll see if teams really recognize what's in front of them and what the opportunities they have that is in front of them going forward, right? Which is you can build a really great team with your young superstars and guys who
Yeah.
are ready to help you win right now, who aren't sexy and aren't the future tantalizing with all that. Yeah, great, but guys who can help you win. That's what kind of matters. I think Jake LaRavia, by the way, I want to touch on that before we go into Sacramento. In terms of player development, he has turned himself into a rotation
Yeah.
player who makes winning plays. Like I get that that's not sexy, but that matters. Like you put him somewhere, not in Sacramento because I don't know what they're doing, but you put him somewhere where there are other guys who are elite, who do all the other stuff that everybody likes, the scoring, all the great shit. He will be a functional piece on a good team. I don't know if he ever gets there now because Sacramento, like I said, I don't know what they're doing. But I think these are the kind of guys you got to look for, right? Guys who can make winning plays and just help you win ball games. So we'll see. All right, folks, enjoy the weekend, enjoy the games, and we will see you sometime next week. All-Star break coming up. All right, take care.